What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new live stream. My apologies for missing yesterday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I did not feel well at all. I caught some sort of like stomach virus or whatever. It kind of just hit me out of nowhere. But still kind of recovering. I still feel kind of sore here and there, but I should be at least 90% tomorrow. But my apologies for that. But we are back today with Daredevil Born Again Season 2 Episode 5 review. Had an absolutely insane episode for Invincible. Can't wait to talk about that. And I'm going to be talking about The Boys Season 5 Episode 3 review. Probably go through our film news as usual. And we'll talk about the NBA play-in tournament. Plus, the NFL draft is a week away. I'm pretty sure. So might do a mock draft, but we'll see. But we'll start with Daredevil Season 2, Episode 5 review. Now, I've been very negative about the show so far. It just hasn't been that good for me. If I'm being honest, I'm not trying to hate on the show. I wanted the show to be good and stuff, but it's just been very disappointing. Thought Season 2, Episode 1 was all right. It was kind of mid. Episode 2 was not very good. Episode 3 was solid. Episode 4 I did not enjoy at all outside of the bullseye stuff. But here, Episode 5, I actually thought it was a decent episode. Pretty much pick up with Vanessa being rushed to the hospital. There's a lot of flashbacks in this episode, which I did like and I did enjoy, which I was actually surprised when I started watching the episode. It gives you the recap and then you hit skip recap and it went straight into the intro, which I thought was very strange. I'm like, did I skip over something on accident? But no, they just go straight into the intro when the episode starts. Not a bad show like She-Hulk, but yeah, this show has issues. What's up, Vecna? How you doing? I heard how bad She-Hulk was, and thankfully I never have to watch it. So, but as I was saying with this episode, Vanessa's in the hospital, and as expected, Kingpin is not handling it well. And let me just say, the actor's acting in this episode was really, really good. I mean, great performance. Probably his, best performance as Kingpin in Born Again so far. I haven't seen the full original series. I'm only on one. But probably his best performance in Born Again so far. But I do love the flashbacks of them walking on the beach like a normal married couple, and of him like buying the paintings from the gallery that she was working at, and bought like a painting that like represented him feeling an empty void and how she filled that for him. So Vanessa and Kingpin are like one of the best dynamics in the Daredevil universe, I guess, in the original series and in Born Again. So I thought the flashbacks were done very well. Then other parts of this episode, you have Daredevil and Bullseye. I thought that stuff was decent. I felt like we didn't really see much of him in this episode. Felt like it was focused on the aftermath of Vanessa's death. Um, but Daredevil's like dragging Bullseye throughout the whole episode, and and then he says Foggy's name, and then Matt snaps and says, "Don't say his name. Don't say his name." So that stuff was good. Um, we haven't seen Heather since episode 3, so I don't know when they're gonna pick that back up. That's a big issue with this show is pacing. The pacing is absolutely atrocious. Like the White Tiger girl wasn't in this episode, which I don't really care for anyway, but still, like all these side characters they had before, they're not in this episode. So, I don't know what's going on with that, but most of the episode was focused on Vanessa and Kingpin. You had some other stuff with Daniel, I think his name is. His acting was phenomenal in this episode, probably the best we've seen from him so far. Where BB asks him like if she's alive or not, and he's like, "You really want to do this now?" And she's like, "I'm sorry." She hugs him and then says like she's in critical condition. Vanessa gets the surgery, and then she eventually wakes up, and she asks for pineapple juice, and even though she doesn't like pineapple juice, Kingpin pointed that out, but it's actually a very common thing with people who suffer a brain injury like that, where their personality kind of just changes just a little bit. Then we see the other guy, I forgot his name, but he drives Daniel around, and Daniel's like, "Look, man, I didn't leak shit. I didn't say anything." And you see like he's terrified for his life, but they pulled over, opened the trunk, and he kind of overreacted, I guess, in a way. And then we see nearly the end of the episode. Daredevil drags Bullseye to Karen Page, which she's supposed to be a main character, but we don't see her until the near end of the episode. And Matt's like, "A little help here," and then we get to the very end of the episode, which where it makes you think that Vanessa might actually have a chance to live, but then she dies, and the episode pretty much ends there. So I do think they gave Vanessa, a good farewell. Kind of redeems last episode, not really. One thing I forgot to mention, I love the Daredevil and Foggy flashbacks in this episode. I thought those were done very good. So I really enjoyed the Matt and Foggy flashbacks. So that was cool. Disney needs to give this show 13 episodes. I hate the whole 8-9 episode format. Yeah, that is kind of weird. Fucking Daniel's an underrated duo. But yeah. I forgot what else I was gonna say. But yeah, that was pretty much the episode. Probably give it like a 7.9 out of 10. I thought it was a decent episode. Not bad, not great. I thought it was all right. But that'll wrap up the Daredevil segment. But that will bring us to our Invincible segment. So give me 1 second to get the banner set up here. Okay, Invincible season 4, episode 7, the penultimate episode. Man, this episode was phenomenal. I mean, just a really good episode. Thought this episode was great. Starts off with backstory to Thrag on, we got to see Argyle in a flashback in this episode, which I love that they got Megatron to voice Argyle. Frank Welker. He voiced Megatron in many Transformers movies and TV shows. So I thought that was a really cool aspect of the episode, since Peter Cullen voices Thaddeus, aka Optimus Prime. So that was really cool. So, we see Thaddeus's point of view on, the Viltrumite way is wrong, and they shouldn't be so aggressive or brutal or whatever you want to call it. But pretty much everyone in the room's against Thaddeus, Argyle, Craig, and Thrag, of course. So then we see Thaddeus go and assassinate Argyle. So they put up his statue, and then Thrag becomes Grand Regent, becomes the new Emperor of Viltrum, and he basically has them like weed out the weakness that allowed this to happen. So pretty much, the Viltrumites pretty much kill each other. Pretty much how Omni-Man explained to Mark in season 1, where like many died, but their strongest soldiers survived the whole process. So we see how that sort of happened. And then go to present day, where the coalition of planets is preparing to go to Viltrum to attack Thrag and the Viltrumites. So they all end up going there, and Thrag's just floating there waiting for them, and boom, it ends up being a trap. All the Viltrumites knew that they were going to be there. So we get another awesome battle in space. I know some people aren't a big fan of, the fights in space. I actually don't mind it. It's very good, very entertaining. But then we see Thrag hit Nolan all the way down to Viltrum, and he flies down there, says like, I just want to talk, and Thrag tries to get Nolan back on his side because he knows Nolan's a valuable asset, saying come home and all will be forgiven. And Nolan pretty much refuses, says this place is a tomb, it's not our home anymore. And Thrag says that like, we can rebuild, this is our home, we can rebuild it. And Nolan says no, and Thrag pretty much just punches him in the face and sends him back out into space. Then we get a couple more fight scenes, and then one that really annoyed me is Oliver attacking Thrag. Like, why does he continue to do this? Like, someone needs to tell Oliver to stop being so stupid. Like, he did the same crap with Conquest twice, and here he is doing it again with Thrag. And, Oliver almost got himself killed. So then, like, even Mark told him, like, don't engage Thrag on your own. And Oliver's saying that, like, oh, I doubt this Thrag guy lives up to the hype. Like, this kid's got to stop being so stupid. Like, Oliver has had some really annoying moments in this season. Like, the kid never learns. Like, Jesus. So then Mark goes after Thrag, and Thrag says like, he's not one of us. He wasn't even a brother to you or whatever. And Mark's like, I killed Conquest, I'll kill you too. So then all the Viltrumites looked at him in shock, and Thrag goes, show me. And then Mark literally hits Thrag with everything he has, and the dude barely moves. Like, they really showed how much of a threat that Thrag is and that he's going to be for like the rest of the series. Like, Mark punches him, doesn't even move, and he's like, I'm not impressed. And they start to realize that they're no match for this guy. So then Nolan comes up with a plan. So he, Thetis, and Mark all fly to throw him along with Space Racer leading the way. And, Tech Jacket gets knocked down, but Nolan tells Mark not to go after her and to just keep going. So once Thrag realizes what they're about to do, he freaks out and flies after them. So Nolan has Space Raider shoot his gun at Viltrum while Nolan, Mark, and Datas fly literally like right through the planet of Viltrum. And the planet pretty much just explodes and planet Viltrum is destroyed. It was such an awesome, intense scene. Huge shock value there. I did not expect that at all. And the other Viltrumites are like looking in shock and are heartbroken now that their home planet is destroyed. So then Thetis says like surrender is your only option. And we see Thrag scream at the top of his lungs, no. And he flies out and he kills Thetis with no effort whatsoever. And then he goes after Nolan and Mark, and they're throwing everything they have. And, there's nothing they can do to beat this guy, especially when he's enraged. So then Mark goes to Nolan and says, how do we beat him? And Nolan's like, Mark. And he's about to say something, but then Thrag takes him out. And we think he's dead for a moment. And then he goes after Mark, and Mark actually tries to fly away from him. But Thrag is way too fast and grabs onto him, tries to hit him, but that obviously doesn't work. So then he goes to like gouge his eyes out or whatever. And then he then he sees the destroyed planet, and he decides to spare him. And he says, there's too few of us left. And they all just take off. So then they all go to the planet Thoraxa, I think, or whatever. So then Alan is now the leader of the coalition of planets. And they're saying that they're trying to find the Viltrumites. Just seemingly disappeared. And they have no idea where they could have gone. And then it hits Mark, and he realizes that, oh shit, they're headed to Earth. And the episode ends there. Sets up the finale perfectly. Really good episode. I'm going to give this episode a 9.5 out of 10. Really awesome episode. You had some great backstory on Thrag, entertaining action. So I can't wait for the finale. Can't believe the season's almost over already. Season just flew by. But that will take us into the Boys season 5 episode 3 review. Also, I'm going to give Born Again episode 5 a 9.2 out of 10. Wow. Yeah, I still think the season 1 finale is the best episode in the show. But we're going to talk about The Boys season 5, episode 3 review. I thought it was an alright episode. After the first episode, I thought the first episode was great, but episode 2 was fine. It was an average episode for me. Episode 3, yeah, it was kind of overhyped. Yeah, it just feels like kind of a drag, to be honest. Like, episode opens up with Ryan hiding out in Russia and attacking these soldiers and stuff. So that's how the episode starts off, and then we see Vought broadcasting like this whole apology thing for Soldier Boy, and so he gets reintroduced to the Seven, and we see that he's completely healed up, he's completely fine, and we see Butcher and his crew like just watching the whole thing, and Billy's like, how the hell is this guy still alive? So they come to find out that anyone who has V1 in their system makes them immune to the virus. So that's why he's still alive. So then we see Homelander announce that, like, hey, I'm proud that he's my father. So he basically reveals to the public that Soldier Boy is his dad, and Sage did not like that, and Soldier Boy did not seem to like that either. Basically, like, the main focus of this episode was, the main boys crew to, like, find out more about this, V1 formula and destroy it before Homelander gets his hands on it. So they go and do that. They go to see Stan Edgar and Victoria's daughter, Zoe. So they basically pretty much go to talk to him about it. They also meet Translucent's son, Maverick, I think his name is. But Stan Edgar told him that Homelander killed his dad, not Huey. So Huey's feeling like very uncomfortable throughout the entirety of the episode. And, he basically like tells Maverick, you just gotta let go, man. And, Starlight pulls him aside and tells him, like, just stop. So then we get a couple scenes with Homelander and Soldier Boy where Soldier Boy's pissed at Homelander. Basically says, like, F you. You knew Butcher had that virus and you sent me in there. And you just sent me in there anyway. And he's like, joke's on you. Whether the virus gets you or not, I'm going to live. You're going to die either way. And I'm going to be running the Seven. Even if the virus doesn't get you, you're still going to grow old. Because we do see that aging's an issue with Homelander. So then which we get some weird scenes with him where he hallucinates Madeline Stillwell as like an angel, telling him to just like take over as a god or become a god or whatever. Let me see, Zoe and Ryan interact. That was cool. I actually like the dynamic that they have going. They do have a disagreement with all like Butcher stuff, which I do think Ryan does genuinely care about her. That's why he doesn't want her to, put her life at risk and get killed. So then Butcher reveals himself and Ryan shoved him, and it's like, good one, but I don't break, that easily. So Butcher tries to convince Ryan to, hit Homelander with the virus. Um, and Butcher convinces him that like we both love the same woman and hate the same man, referring to Rebecca and Homelander. So Butcher low key pissed me off in this episode. Yeah, I don't blame you. He's a bit much in this episode. Um, but yeah, he takes him to a bar and continues to try to convince him to trap Homelander into getting hit with the virus. And they eventually start to have good moments in this episode. Then we see Deep, Noir, whatever that other lady's name was, heading to Stan Edgar because Homelander wants that V1 formula to make himself immortal. Then we get this weird scene of Homelander just chilling in a bathtub filled with milk. Like, why? Um, but yeah, Soldier Boy goes up there and he's like, "What the fuck?" So then Homelander freaking like relays his plan to Soldier Boy, and Soldier Boy is like, "Yeah, whatever." So they basically send Maverick out to set off smoke grenade on Deep and Noir and stuff, and then whatever that other guy's name was, I don't remember what his name was, but he catches Maverick, and Deep pretty much says like, "Dude, Homelander didn't kill your dad. That was Huey." Um, so then Maverick switches sides, lets them in, and he goes after Huey. Um, and Huey tries to defend himself, but Maverick doesn't listen. Then we see that other girl go in and she kills Maverick instead of Huey, which kind of shocked me. But then Starlight goes in there and instantly snaps her neck because she thought Huey died. Um, but so we see her breaking down, crying, and then she hugs Huey. We also saw Kumiko and or not excuse me, Frenchie. They're in a good relationship. Well, they're in a relationship. They love each other, but they have some differences. Like Kumiko wants to have kids, but Frenchie doesn't want any. So that could be a huge issue later down the line. Then get some funny moments from throughout the episode. And then Deep captures Stan Edgar and takes him. Then he pretty much betrays Noir and just leaves him there so he can take all the credit. And say like, "Look, Homelander, look what I did for you." Which the Deep is so dumb. I'm calling it now. He's gonna die at the end of the season. I could just see it coming. So then, what else was I gonna say? So Zoe ends up going to um, the base that Butcher has or whatever, and she reunites with Samir, her father, and she tells him the truth that it was Butcher who killed Victoria, not Homelander. So then he just starts destroying, you know, every like vial of the virus that they have as like an FU. Um, which Frenchie and Kumiko happen to walk in there. And at first, Frenchie's like, "Lady, don't make me shoot your dad," or whatever. But then Kumiko gets him to stand down. He's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "She's just a kid. Let her grow up, not be like us." So they end up just letting him go. And then Butcher and Ryan eventually get there. Um, he has Ryan meet his bulldog, which is a cool moment. Then Butcher walks in and sees all the destroyed, vials of, viruses that they had. And Samir's gone and he gets all pissed off about it. And, he realizes that it was Kumiko let them go. And looks like he's about to, unleash on her. But then Frenchie steps in, is like, touch her and I won't make you more. So then he backs down and then he tells Ryan, I only said that stuff to get you to, agree to the plan to take out Homelander. And then Ryan's like, you piece of shit liar, and just walks out again. So despite all that, we still get Ryan confronting Homelander about the truth on what he did to his mom. And he just unleashes everything on Homelander, hits him with his laser eyes, starts punching him and stuff. And so they go at it, which is very entertaining for a bit. It actually gets some hits on Homelander, but then Homelander overpowers him eventually and just slams him to the ground. And he's like, it's okay. Everything's going to be okay. And then he just starts beating the living crap out of him, which a lot of people are comparing it to when Omni-Man beat the crap out of Invincible in season 1. So neat little parallel there, but he starts beating the crap out of Ryan. And he does end up sparing him, and we end up seeing Butcher go there, and he sees, Ryan's still alive, but he's like beaten up pretty badly. So we'll see what happens, in next week's episode with that. Then we see, Starlight, freaking out and telling Huey that I thought she killed you. And she's like, if I lose you, I can't handle it, whatever. So then she just flies off. So we'll see what happens there. And the episode pretty much ends with Homelander going up to Stan Edgar and saying, like, we have much to discuss about the V1 virus. And the episode pretty much ends there. So I thought it was an okay episode. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I'll probably give it like 7.7 out of 10. I didn't think it was that good. Which I forgot to mention the Soldier Boy and Firecracker stuff. Oh boy. But yeah, I thought it was an alright episode. But that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Black Noir acting sus once again. Yeah, it's weird because he spoke a lot in season 4 and he hasn't said like one line so far. And we're 3 episodes in. Yeah, that was. Even Soldier Boy was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it was freaking weird. The Deep was so rude, bro. He took out Black Noir just so he can get all the credit. Out Black Noir gets his revenge on the Deep. Yeah. Deep's probably the most hateable character in the show, to be honest. There's a shot in the trailer where Black Noir has his fists ready, which makes me think he's going to beat up Deep. Yeah, he is. I was right. Ryan is the one Homelander is beating on the trailer. Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. So brutal, the best scene in the episode. Oh yeah, I agree. Let's get into our film news. Just got to get the page pulled up. Still think episode 1 is the best. Season 5 so far, 9 out of 10 for episode 1. Yeah, I'd say pretty much the same. Okay, Invincible season 4 episode 7 is the episode of the entire series. Yeah, so you got season 3 episode 8, and then number 2 season 4 episode 7. Yeah, really good episode. I agree with this person. Season 1 finale will always be the best. Catherine Newton will officially return as Casey Lang in Avengers Doomsday. Assume she was in the Hawkeye show, if I'm not mistaken. The re-release of Avengers Endgame will include new scenes and footage. Re-releasing in theaters in September 25th. Avengers Doomsday will not change its current release date. The film will not be screened in IMAX. New Transformers movie is now in the works at Paramount, finally. Michael Bay will return to direct. Kind of on the fence on that, but Top Gun 3 is now officially in the works with Tom Cruise returning. The story follows Maverick having an existential crisis. I don't think it's the best idea because Top Gun Maverick was so good, even though I still haven't seen it, but I just heard it was really good. But yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's the best idea, but we'll see. I've only seen the original Top Gun. So I'm gonna be honest. I don't really like Soldier Boy this season. He was way better in season 3. I agree. We got a new Avengers Doomsday trailer at CinemaCon, but it didn't drop online. Yeah, I heard about it. I literally heard about people refreshing their page, trying to find it or whatever. Hate it when they do that, when they show it at events like that, but not online. So that kind of frustrates me. A Charlie and the Chocolate Factory reboot is in the works at Netflix. Okay. First trailer for Street Fighter has been released. Yeah. So those of you who don't know, Street Fighter trailer is coming out, or Street Fighter movie is coming out. It's gonna have Raina Landingham, who was Zara in Cobra Kai season 6. So she's gonna be in it, and it will be out on October 16th. Pluribus season 2 will officially begin filming this fall. Now I never watched the show, but I heard that the actress who plays Kim in Better Call Saul is in it. I've heard mixed things about it. Project Hail Mary will officially receive an extended theatrical run. It's already the highest grossing Amazon film ever. I didn't know it was an Amazon film. Star Trek franchise will officially end soon. So yeah, I've never really been a fan of Star Trek. Just never really interests me. But my dad always loved the franchise, you know, the movies and the shows. Um, but yeah, just not in a good place at the moment. Posters of Bob Odenkirk in his new film, Normal, spotted in different cities. Obviously, know him and Better Call Saul as Saul Goodman or Jimmy McGill, whichever you want to call him. Oh god, Minecraft 2 is officially titled a Minecraft sequel. Yeah, so this movie was famous for all the memes and shit, and the memes died down. People realized how bad it actually was. I never watched it. I've only seen clips, but I heard it was really bad. Oh boy, Marvel Studios has fired most of their visual effects team, excuse me. Only a small team remains working project by project. Probably not the best decision. Jumanji is titled Jumanji Open World. Oh boy. Film follows the virtual world colliding with reality. In theaters December 25th. The live action Legend of Zelda movie has wrapped filming. First posters for Spider Man Brand New Day have been revealed. So, yeah, they look pretty good. Avengers Secret Wars has officially begun pre production. I guess this is who's in it so far. First reactions to Avengers Doomsday called the best Marvel movie of all time. All right, we need to calm down with that. Held the first test screening for the film in theaters December 18th. The heck is this? Okay. Okay. I think I'm pretty much caught up here. Still gotta watch Project Hail Mary. Yeah, me too. Surprised they're even making a sequel to the Minecraft movie, considering how bad it is. Yeah, but it's still money because of all the Minecraft fans that went there and because of the memes. So that's probably why they're still making it. Because it doesn't matter if the movie does good or it doesn't matter if the movie's good or not. If it makes a shitload of money at the box office, they're of course going to make another one to make more money. Fortunately, that's how it works. Why do we need this though? Like, I love the Jumanji movies. I mean, the original one was good with Robin Williams, but these newer ones are, they're all right. But I'm gonna get to some NBA playing games. Well, sometimes not always the case because even good movies never get a sequel due to low box office reviews. For instance, Transformers 1 was pretty good despite the low box office reviews. Yeah, that was a good movie. We'll get into our NBA stuff. But yeah, starting off with the end of the regular season, Cavs beat the Hawks. Mitchell, 31 points, 24 from Kaminga. Magic beat the Wolves for the second time this season. 20 points from Bankero, 33 from Shannon. Pistons beat the Bucks. Nuggets beat the Grizzlies. Spurs beat the Blazers, which now they're playing each other in the playoffs. Thunder beat the Clippers, 20 from Kawhi, 30 and 14 from Chet. And then Suns beat the Mavericks, 37 from Booker. Got a Thursday. Raptors beat the Heat. Ingram with 38. Bam with a double double. Bulls beat the Wizards. Pacers beat the Nets. This game pissed me off. Knicks beat the Celtics. Tatum 24 and 13. Brunson 25 and 10. 3-point shooting was awful. Defense did not show up. Just not a good game. It's not fun. Rockets beat the Sixers, 29 from Durant. Lakers beat the Warriors, 26 from LeBron, plus 11 assists. Friday. As soon as it loads. Pistons beat the Hornets. Could be a playoff series. Heat beat the Wizards. Hawks get back at the Cavs. Celtics destroy the Pelicans. 24 from Hauser. 25 from Derek Queen. 3-point shooting is insane. Sixers beat the Pacers. Knicks beat the Raptors. Magic beat the Bulls. Bucks beat the Nets. Spurs beat the Mavericks. 40 from Wemby plus 13 rebounds. Going against Flag. Nuggets beat the Thunder by 20. Soon Thunder was resting everybody. Wolves beat the Rockets. Jazz beat the Grizzlies. Blazers beat the Clippers for play-in seeding. Kings beat the Warriors, and then Lakers destroy the Suns. There are no games on Saturday. All right, this game shocked me. Celtics sat their entire starting lineup. The Magic had their starters out, and the Celtics still beat them with their bench. I mean, it was ridiculous. 30 from Baylor Shinerman. It's like 28 from Ron Harper Jr. Triple double from Bincaro, but it doesn't really matter. Um, Magic won this game. They could have been the 7 seed, but instead they fall down to 8. Then Cavs beat the Wizards, Pistons beat the Pacers, Heat beat the Hawks. 25 and 10 from Bam. Hornets annihilate the Knicks. Knicks are sitting everybody, to be fair. Sixers beat the Bucks. Raptors beat the Nets. Mavs beat the Bulls. Rockets beat the Grizzlies. Wolves beat the Pelicans. Juan Berenjay, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 30 and 22 for Derek Queen. Suns beat the Thunder. Nuggets beat the Spurs. Jokic with 23 and 8 rebounds. A Wemby in that game. Lakers beat the Jazz. Clippers beat the Warriors. 20 points for Mathurin. And then Blazers beat the Kings. 25 and 10 assists from Denny Avia. So that brings us to our playing games, which we've had some really good playing games. Like every game's been a good game. But yeah, first game, Heat Hornets, phenomenal game. Went into overtime. Kobe White hit an insane three to force overtime. And then LaMelo hit a layup to win the game. It was very fun, entertaining. 28 from Mitchell, 28 from Miles Bridges. Hornets beat the Heat, and they'll have a chance to get into the playoffs if they beat Orlando. And then Suns Blazers, another really good game. Denny Avia is playing out of his mind. 41 points, 12 assists. Jalen Green with 35 points. Blazers are in the playoffs for the first time since 2021, so that's a huge accomplishment for them. Avia had a really good year this year. Definitely should be in most improved player of the year. Brings us to last night's games. All right, then last night's playing games. I did watch this one, and the Magic, one of the most frustrating teams to watch. I mean, Big Cara was horrible. He couldn't hit a three to save his life. Desmond Bain played great. Suggs played all right. Franz played all right, but Desmond Bain was pretty much their best player by far. But Tyrese Maxey was clutch, 31 points, 34 from Bain. Sixers take down the Magic. They get the 7 seed. They'll be playing the Celtics in the first round, which will be the 23rd time they've played the Celtics in the playoffs. And then Warriors beat the Clippers. I did not expect this one. 35 from Steph, 21 from Garland. Clippers choke again. They are eliminated from the playoffs. So that's pretty much our NBA stuff. Final playing games will be on Friday. Charlotte versus Orlando, and then Phoenix versus Golden State. I think Charlotte will beat Orlando. Their offense is just way better. Even though I think Orlando can out physical them, but their offense just isn't good enough. And then I think Phoenix will beat Golden State. But those are my predictions. All right, so I will do an NFL mock draft to end things off because there isn't much more to talk about. No trades, obviously, because it's PFF. But I haven't done one of these in a while. I miss Cobra Kai, not gonna lie, because that's when we could talk most about stuff. Yeah, I miss the show every day. All right, but starting off with the Raiders at number 1, it's pretty much a lot for Fernando Mendoza. He's going to be their quarterback of the future. Then for the Jets, going to go Arvell Reese, linebacker out of Ohio State. He can play edge. Cardinals, they could trade down, but I don't know what they can trade down for. And there'd have to be a team. There'd have to be somebody that a team would want to trade up for. So that's kind of the issue there. But take best offensive lineman available. It's a tanking year for them since they signed Gardner Minshew as their quarterback. But Titans gonna go Jeremiah Love here. I know running back that high is insane, but really good offensive player. Get a weapon for Cam Ward on offense. Giants gonna go Sony Styles. Linebackers a need for them. The Browns will go Carnell Tate. They need receiver help badly. Commanders, I'm going to go David Bailey at Texas Tech. Need to keep improving the defense. Then we got Ruben Bain to the Saints. Chiefs take Mansour Delane. They need corner badly. Bengals, Caleb Downs, perfect fit. Dolphins need receivers since they don't have Waddle and Tyreek anymore. Gonna go Jordan Tyson here. Cowboys need to improve the secondary. We go Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. For the Rams, gonna go Mekhi Lemon. They don't have depth at receiver behind Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Ravens, gonna go Spencer Fano. Need some help on the offensive line. Tampa Bay, go edge rusher. Akeem Mezider, keep him in the state of Florida. The Jets, probably going to go offensive line here. Vega Ione, since they lost Elijah Tucker. The Lions take a swing on Monroe Freeling since Taylor Decker's gone, I believe. Vikings get a steal in Jermon McCoy. Panthers upgrade tight end and Kenyon Sadiq. Great athlete, had a great combine. Cowboys take CJ Allen. They need linebacker help. Steelers still gonna have them go receiver despite the Michael Pittman trade. Take Omar Cooper from Indiana. Chargers gonna go Keldrick Folk from Auburn. Eagles, they're gonna replace AJ Brown with Denzel Boston. Browns need offensive line. It's tricky though. Probably have them go Blake Miller and move him to left tackle, most likely. Bears need some run defense help. Go Cassius Howell from Texas A&M. The Bills take Emmanuel McNeil Warren. 49ers. They need depth at edge rusher, so we'll go TJ Parker here. Texans need offensive line help. Go Emmanuel Pregnon. I think their tackles are fine. Chiefs need a receiver badly. Go Casey Conception from Texas A&M. Dolphins need corner. Go Avion Terrell here. Patriots. My Patriots. Gonna go tackle Max Heineker. Don't need to start him right away. You can sit him behind Morgan Moses for the year. Got great size for a tackle. He's like 6'6" or something. I don't remember. See, say his height here somewhere. But got all his snaps at right tackle. Does it say his height? 6'6", 330 pounds. Great size for a tackle. And then Seahawks, we're going to go Colton Hood from Tennessee. And that is the mock draft. My first one in a while. Yeah, that is the mock draft. But thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Peace out.